All right, guys, before we start this video, I just want to say thank you guys for the support recently. But unfortunately, we have some stuff we have to talk about that may not be funny or you guys might not be used to the podcast, but we'll get all into that in just a minute. So let's roll the intros. Let's enjoy the show.
We are very opinionated people.
You mean we're assholes? Okay, guys, welcome back to the FullofBS podcast with myself and Noah.
What's going on, guys?
Where we are two guys who act like we know everything, but actually don't know nothing.
But actually, we know everything.
Exactly. So, yeah, just before the intro, you guys heard me say this might not be the funniest episode, but we have to talk about some serious stuff that happened this week.
Let's do it.
So, if you guys don't already know, I've been working like temporarily, but I've been doing a lot of hours, and like in the last from Monday to Friday, I worked like over 60 hours. Like I was working a lot, but I had to deal with some shit while being at work and after work, and I think we need to talk about it because it has to do with last week's episode where, specifically speaking, we talked about some funny stuff that I think my friends do. Now, basically, Noah put a TikTok up, and I'm gonna make this like a whole story, so we're gonna get like from the beginning to end. It'll be a little bit longer, but so Noah posted a TikTok of the conversation, and it was pertaining to the seven toast or the dozen toast
Speech cheers.
All the speech cheers that we do, right? And just quick note, I edited down that video a little bit, and we got rid of the TikTok, and I took out some of the jokes that went a little too far, and I'll tell you guys why. So
First of all, just before you start, I think we shouldn't have deleted the TikTok or edited the podcast. Continue.
Oh, you're starting this off already. Okay.
I'll explain my point.
Okay. No, it's fine. But yeah. So basically, I received a message about half an hour or so after the video went up, but I was already asleep, so I read it in the morning, and it was basically one of the friends in the group messaged me, and she said, she sent me the link of the TikTok saying this is very disrespectful. Now, when I first saw that, I'm not gonna lie, it was early. I was waking up. I thought that she saw it, thought it was funny, and was like laughing about it, saying, that's fucked up in a sense, right? But so I responded, and I responded with like some smiling emojis, like, oh, you thought it was funny, didn't you, right? And then she broke it down for me after, and she said, no, it was very disrespectful, some of the things that we said. And I didn't understand what it was at first, because in my opinion, and I still believe this, the general topics of like, just saying stuff that my friends do that's funny isn't like a bad thing to say.
Yeah, you're entitled to your own opinion. And nobody can say like, here's my reason why I don't think we should have taken it down.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, this is your opinion. You didn't name drop any single person. And you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want to say. I mean, to a certain extent, right? But, you know, I understand if your friends got offended or they take, maybe they didn't like what you said, right? But it's also, half of it is my channel also, right? I didn't say shit, so I have to start taking shit down because you're offended by something Jamie said. Let me say something to bring you to fucking reality here. We're talking for an hour and a half. We crack jokes, and if you take offense, don't fucking watch it. Like, I'm sorry that it has to be that way, but that's how this podcast is, right? Like, we're not like some super laid back, relaxed, very respectful people, right? Like, we're just stating our opinion, and like I said, if you don't like it, don't watch.
Well, I'm already fucked. But basically, so okay, let's relax a little bit. But basically, some of the points that people were pissed off by was that I made it seem like it was about this specific person's birthday, which when I saw the video back, I could understand because it was taken like as a snippet or whatever. And in the actual segment itself, I said I don't want this to be just about I don't want to just talk about her birthday. It's just like an example,
right?
Per se, right? But I felt really bad about that, and some of the jokes went a little too far, like the joke about the seventh toaster, or just like things like that. I
still don't agree.
Okay, well, I'm already fucked. But basically, I think some of the jokes went too far. I agreed. I really did. So I apologize for that. And then to the person's birthday, I sent her a voice message saying, hey, this was just brought to my attention. I don't want this to seem like I'm targeting you. I apologize if it came off that way. I really didn't mean it that way. and I asked if I could, I asked her boyfriend if I could go see her in person to apologize in person, because just like on the podcast, I like to show the emotion, not just like say that I'm emotional about something, right? But yeah, so ended up being a conflict of schedules, I believe, so we couldn't meet up after I finished work. But I made sure to apologize profusely about those things, because I'm not trying to bully somebody. I'm not trying to make it seem about their birthday or anything like that. But yeah, so I apologized a lot. She said it was cool. And then I apologized to a few people here and there, just being like, hey, I'm assuming you saw this because it has a bunch of shares. I just want you to know there's no malintent. There was no me like shitting on you guys. It was me just making some jokes about what we do. And I never said like go fuck yourself for doing it. If you guys want to do it, go right ahead, right? And I thought that we were okay after, right?
Okay, let me just say this. Let me say this, because I've had a similar not exactly the same, but I've had a similar experience in a sense where I posted something, I didn't understand why somebody got mad, which is like what happened here.
Okay.
And they got mad. Okay, this was my roommate. Okay. So he wanted to post a picture for like 6 months, right? Like it was just a picture of all of us. He wanted to post it on Instagram. Didn't post it for like 6 months. So I posted it on Instagram, right? After like 6 months. And the caption was like, "You're too late," or something like that, right? So he got mad at that. Now, I didn't understand why he got mad, because at the end of the day, it's just an Instagram picture, right? But nevertheless, like I respected that he was upset about it, right? But the way that we handled this situation, and from what I'm hearing, I don't know.
I'll get to how.
The way that we handled that situation was he messaged me and said, you know, I really didn't appreciate you posting that picture, right? He told me that in person. I looked at him. I'm like, okay, I apologize. If you want, I can delete it so you can post it. Or like, we just go on about our business. Like, it's just an Instagram picture. Who cares, right? He was like crying about it. I mean, it's the guy who cries all the time. But you know, we took it as what it is. It happened. People make mistakes, and we just moved on. Like it's not like something that you can dwell about all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like it happened. Should you maybe have not said it? Sure. But I don't think you have to be apologetic about it.
This is not good already.
Why?
Because I'm trying to I'm trying to actually like make sure that everyone's cool. And then whatever, it's fine, whatever. But like, so that part was like already water under the bridge from what I was told. I thought it was cool, whatever, right? Like once, like I didn't change the video at that point. I didn't like actually take the video down. I thought that like people understood that it was just maybe a bad joke or two, but the concept itself wasn't that bad. Right?
Yeah, you weren't targeting anyone.
But yeah, so I go about my day, right? And then I believe this was on Friday. And once again, like I'm working a lot, right? And I had to keep bringing that up because I don't have time to just go on my phone. So like I'm taking I'm like making sure that I make some time that I can like try to solve these issues. But I'm on lunch break at this point, right? And I go on my phone. I see a text message from like an hour and a half ago, and it was from one of the guys in the group, and he called me, right? So I called him back to see what's up, and he's like, "Do you have a minute?" I'm like, "I don't have that much time, right? Excuse me, sorry, I'm at work, and like I have maybe 10-15 minutes if you want to talk about something, right?" He's like, "Okay." So he basically when everyone was upset about the TikTok, I said watch the whole segment. That way you get an understanding of it was just us cracking some jokes about what we do. And after a few days, he actually watched the segment and he was like really pissed off about it, right? And he's like, I think it was terrible and very disrespectful. You said, I'm like, okay, he said I wrote a bunch of points down about stuff that he said that's fucked up. And I said, okay, let's go through the points. Let's see what's going on. See if we can find some common middle ground, right? And he starts off, right? And some of the stuff that he told me, I already apologized for. So I said, yeah, I know, I apologize for it already. It was messed up. But then it took a really bad turn, because once again, I'm at work. I'm on a job site, right? Mm-hmm. I'm building someone's fence and deck, right? The customer is like 10 meters away from me, and the conversation is getting louder and louder in my ear. and he basically like starts calling me names and saying that I'm very disrespectful, and he's telling me like what I meant when I said something, which I know what I meant when I said stuff. Like it's all jokes. Like I will make jokes in front of you. I will and we're gonna laugh about it. But to them, some of the issue was that I put it online, and that I was just very disrespectful in my terms. And I said no, that's not the case, right? And I still fully believe that there's nothing wrong with the concept itself. The concept itself was like, we do some funny things. Let's talk about it. Let's have a good laugh, right? We do a few too many toasts. I'm not a huge fan of the EDM music that we play, right? If it was up to me, we'd be playing heavy metal, like a joke like that, right? Or we're competing to like who can drink the most and whatever. Like I don't think those are bad topics that like came off as like, oh yeah, fuck you guys for doing that, because
You know why it's not a bad topic? Because it's fucking normal to think those things. Like you like to agree with everything that a friend group does. Let me tell you, it doesn't exist, because that's not a friendship. That's a fucking dictatorship, right?
Well, look,
everybody has to believe that we're doing this the right way. Everybody thinks that the speeches, it should be everybody doing a speech. It should be crying. It should be this. It should be that. Like me and my friends, we never have this issue because we understand that we're fucking human. First of all, we make mistakes and we forgive. That's like that's what I don't understand, how everybody is so upset about nothing. Like grow up. Stop being so immature. That's another thing. Like, and I told you this before. If somebody called me at work and started yelling at me, you know what I would do?
you would hang up.
I would hang up the phone. And then if they called me again, I would block the number. Why? Because it's an immature thing to do. Like the way that I handle every situation is I think about it first. I think, okay, I'm not going to just act out on my emotions. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to internalize it. I'm going to think of a response that is necessary, right? And the reason that I'm a little bit, I know that I'm a little bit aggressive in this podcast, but it's because they need to hear it. Like, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? You know that saying? That's a classic saying.
It is.
You know, everybody makes mistakes, and it's important to also be able to forgive people for making mistakes. I personally don't think you made a mistake whatsoever, but if they were offended, you know, they're also entitled to their own opinion.
Well, look. Like I do see where, like, if they had say five or six issues with the podcast, there was at least half of it that I understood and I apologize for. There's some that I don't agree with and I don't understand where the issue came from, right? And like, there's no issue with that. Like, you can have your opinion about it, I can have my opinion about it. Like, I'm gonna get to it in a bit, but I had a couple other conversations with different people, and one of them was really productive, where he's like, yeah, it's just in our, like, not even in our friend culture, but like they're Russian, right? They're like, he's like, in my family we do toast all the time, so it's normal to me. Maybe it's not normal to you, but there's nothing wrong with the differences, right?
That, like,
and I get that.
In that sense, it's you know, it's just a normal conversation that you're having. You're allowed to disagree.
Yeah, but once again, I'm gonna keep reiterating this, and like some of the jokes that went too far. Making it seem like it was about someone's birthday wasn't okay, because I don't want to shit on somebody on their fucking day. I don't want to seem like I'm bullying. So I get that, and I apologize profusely for that, right? But I'm never gonna stray away from the fact that this is an observation, and it's like, to me it was funny. Like, I showed it to some other people to like get their perspective or whatever, and they said I don't see the issue. I think it's hilarious. Like
my friends also thought it was funny.
Yeah, so I hope that we can move forward from this. I know that it's going to take some time, but I don't want to lose like friends over this. But I got to go back to the first conversation that I had, because it was very disrespectful, and it got to the point where I was like, dude, if you're not going to let me respond and you're going to call me names, I'm going to hang up. And he told me to hang up, and I hung up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We haven't talked since, right? And then I told you I had two other conversations after that, and they were very productive. And I learned, like, they gave me ways to think about these concepts and like prevent anything from happening in the future. Like, there was some good feedback in a sense.
Sure.
Like my buddy's like before he got really mad at me, like, he's like, dude, if you're talking about us in whatever way, maybe before you do the podcast, you just ask us if it's okay to bring it up. Hold up. And if everyone says no, everyone says no. But if everyone's cool with the topics, then go at it. And maybe you do make a couple bad jokes, but they're not going to be blindsided by the topic itself. And another buddy of mine was like, hey, just what's it called? Next time, just maybe use better wording, because if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But as long as the topic itself is clear, then it should be fine, right? And
Okay. Well, first, if whoever said like you have to ask them.
no, not you have to ask. It's like it would be a good thing maybe if you don't know if people would like the topic or not, then just be like, hey,
Absolutely
is
not.
it
Absolutely not. If I don't name drop you, I'm sorry. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want, whatever I want, right? Like you have to think about it like this, bro. We're having a like I know the camera's here or whatever, but we're just having a conversation. Could you imagine if the camera's not here? You have to call up somebody and say, "Is it okay if I ask my friend about this?"
That's not what the issue is. It's that like because if we weren't on camera and we're just shooting the shit, then we're just shooting the shit. But a big point of this was you're broadcasting it to the world and people can take it whatever way.
But I don't say your name.
It's not about saying their name. It's the fact that you put it out publicly, and like some people may take it as you're making fun of your friends or whatever. Which once again, I think that it's okay for me to talk about it publicly because as long as it's very lighthearted and you can see that, I don't see the issue with telling some jokes here and there or whatever. But to them, it was very much about from what I assume because I got different opinions from different people about what was wrong with it, and from what I can get, it was like the fact that I'm broadcasting it, right, means that people can see it and know who we're talking about, like in our circle or out or.
You think the 500 views we get on TikTok, people know? I would probably know like 100 of them, maybe.
It's still like, I'll say a valid idea that I don't agree with, because I think it's okay to talk about stuff. And like my buddy said, hey, what if we went online and talked all the shit about your birthday?
Perfect. Do it. I want you to do it because I know 100% I wouldn't give a single fuck. I would not give one fuck.
Can you like not be as aggressive, please?
Okay, sorry. I would not give a fuck.
Well, look, I told him. I said, hey, could be personal bias, whatever, but I don't mind when you guys like make jokes about stuff that I do. Like in our circle, we make fun of the fact that I play the drums, I listen to metal music, that I'm a fucking nerd. Like, and it goes like a lot of ways. Like people have literally called me a loser for buying my PS5 while they're playing my PS5. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't care when you guys make jokes as long as it's all in good fun. Like if there was an issue with a joke, I'll pull you aside and I'll be like, hey, do you mind not saying that as much? And it's happened before where I've had to do that. People have done that to me. And I don't think it's anything wrong because once again, you could think that it's funny and maybe you just missed the mark or whatever. But I digress. So he was saying, yeah, what if we talked about your birthday? And I said, yeah, personal bias. I said I made fun of my own birthday because it didn't end up being as good as I hoped it would because of the win and stuff like that. Not to mention I forgot to buy like beers for people, but I don't see the issue as long as it's like lighthearted, right? Or if it's all in good fun. Like if I would tell you to your face what I thought was funny about your birthday, I don't see the issue with me telling it to the camera. And to each their own. Everyone has their different opinions on that, and I'm not gonna say your opinions are invalid, but just like that, my opinion is not invalid, right? Mm-hmm. So I know we've been going on for like almost 20 minutes about this, but I think it has to be said where I understand where some of the issues came from, and I don't understand where some of the other issues came from. I hope, I really do, that everyone can be friends after and what's it called, and that we can move forward. But at the end of the sorry, I'm gonna let you stop speaking. At the end of the day, like I'm gonna stand behind this. I will die on this hill. Me making a joke about you guys doing 7 toasts, I don't think is wrong. Maybe one of the jokes I made went a little too far, is saying the 7th person, the 1st person. I'm not gonna even say the joke anymore. But maybe like that went too far. But the actual idea itself is a funny topic, and I don't see the issue with like talking about stuff like that.
Yeah. I just want to end it on this note because I'm so over this, and I don't understand what the issue is. But just let me end it on this for everybody that's watching that understands this this thing. Just think about like what's happening here, okay? Like from an outside perspective, because I'm not really part of this friend group or whatever.
Nor will you ever fucking be at this point.
Yeah, I
be respectful. Be
I
respectful.
don't give a shit. Think about it from an outside perspective because that's where I'm coming from here. We're 2 guys that are doing a podcast.
Act like we know everything but know nothing.
Yeah. We shoot it for fun. We crack jokes. But at the end of the day, it's just 2 guys having a conversation, right? It's not that important to like start analyzing and start messaging and calling and this and that. It doesn't matter. That's where I'm coming from. Like, think about it before you start sharing it and sending it to your friends and this and that. Can you believe he said this and that? Who cares? Like, actually, who actually cares? Like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's it. I don't see what this whole fuss is about at all. Like, literally at all. I'm sorry, all of you, including you, reminds me of high school. It literally, he said this, she said that, this, that. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Anyways, that's it.
By the way, I wasn't looking. Did you include me in the whole grade 12 thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I include everyone involved in there.
Okay, you know what? Fair, but also fuck you. But well, look, we're gonna move on. I hope everything can move forward, whatever. But if it doesn't, then it just ends up not doing that, and I don't know what to say at that point, because I'm not gonna take disrespect from people, and I hope that they really don't see the disrespect in what I said. But whatever, we'll move on. But here, I'll try to move it to like a bit more of a lighthearted topic.
Yeah, I have a good one.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead. Sorry, I've been talking this whole time. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I went to a girl's house yesterday.
Oh God, here we go again.
Same girl. First.
Wait. Is it the one that on the podcast I said go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
Oh.
She didn't like that. Anyways.
What a great segue to something else that I said that I shouldn't have said.
I went to her house for the first time yesterday, and we were just chilling, whatever, and then not all her friends, but a bunch of her friends showed up, and I just wasn't expecting that, right?
Okay.
So I want to get your perspective on it was cool, they weren't weirdos or whatever, and we kind of just said hi, and then we went back upstairs, which I thought was a little weird.
Wait, her friends were downstairs and you were upstairs?
Yeah, because I didn't come. I didn't know they were coming. Right, we went to hang out with each other, and then her friends, invited themselves or were with her sister. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't mind that they came, and I said hi, what's up, what's going on. But what's your take on that? Where it's you go, if you were to go to someone's house and then they invite people, and you weren't expecting that.
Well, I know what I'm not gonna say this time, and that's go fuck yourself, because that was actually messed up too. I remember I watched, that was the segment before the whole thing, and I remember watching that to find, I was like, wait, that's a little messed up too.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're watching this, I apologize. But I'm done apologizing after this fucking episode. Oh my God, I apologize too much. So it was her friends for sure, right? Not her, does she have a sister the same age?
Yeah, close to the same age. I think they work at the same place. So.
Well, okay, so
they're all friends. Anyways.
Couldn't it have just been that they went to go see her sister? No?
Because I think one of them was her best friend or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I could see where that's awkward.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm trying to think, because there's different situations where that it's fine and that's not fine. Where it could have been that her sister just invited a bunch of their friends over, or whatever, not knowing that you were there or whatever. And you did. I think you were kind of respectful. If it was me, I probably would have just hung out with them as well. I don't know. I've never been in that situation, to be fair. But
they were having a wine night or something like that.
They were having a wine night, or you?
Yeah, I wasn't down to have. I mean, I also drove, so.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So if I'm assuming that it was just they came over to see the sister, and they assumed that she was gonna hang out with them, but that's whatever. I don't think that's a full issue. I can see where it's awkward, but I don't think she did anything wrong, if that's what you're saying. If she didn't.
No. There's nothing wrong about it. It was just a little weird, but I pulled this move. Right?
Oh God.
I pulled this move, right? So they came, probably around 10 or something.
10 p.m. Okay.
So what happened is we went downstairs, we said hi, whatever. We went back upstairs, and I did this class move right here, where I left an hour later so she can hang out with her friends.
Okay.
So I kind of fixed the situation, but here's something that I also told her, and I'm just it was a little weird. When they came, they work at the same camp or whatever.
Okay.
When they came in the door or whatever, and they started talking, they were talking about camp stories, right? Or oh, this happened at camp or this whatever.
Okay.
I couldn't add anything to the conversation, right? It's some somebody else come and we just start talking hardcore UFC, right? It's and they don't watch UFC at all, right? It's you can't. How am I supposed to add? So it's kind of just just looking around,
Dude, I have to deal with the same thing all the time when I hang out with your friends.
No.
My guy, Not okay, not all the time, but a lot of the times when I'm hanging out with your friends, you guys just start talking about stuff that you did at school, and I'll just be like, am I gonna play with my dick right now? Like I'm not doing shit.
When do we do that?
You guys do it at least like 30% of the time that we hang out.
Like, do you have an example off the top of your head?
I think it was your birthday, and like I'm chilling in the backyard. I think you're doing some drinking games, or whatever, and I'm with like about 4 people, right? And like they all went to the same school as you, so they start talking about stuff from school, and I'm just there, just hitting my vape and having a beer, and I look at them, I'm like, oh yeah. I lived at home the last 4 years. And they're like, what? You didn't go to school? I'm like, I went to school. I just went to school at home. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's different though, because you're already like friends with them, right?
Yeah,
so it's like if we want to talk about something that happened, that's fine. But this was like literally the first time that I met them, and I like I couldn't say anything, you know?
Okay, fine. Then when I would go up to your school for the weekend, at least one time while we were drinking, you guys would like bring up someone's name, be like, "Who's that?" Oh yeah, she's in this class with me. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't even know what program you're in." Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that, where I'm just like, "Oh yeah, you watched the basketball game yesterday?" And they're like, "No, let's go back to this school thing." I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I don't know what to talk about."
Yeah, when you kind of get lost and there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it was one of those situations. It wasn't like a bad thing. It was just like a little bit awkward, I would say.
Oh yeah, well I mean. I'm just trying to think of like what happens when you walk down. Like I'm trying to imagine like I'm one of her friends and I see you walking downstairs and I'm just like,
who are you?
Who the fuck?
Well, apparently they all knew who I was.
Hey, let's go.
Anyways,
but yeah,
all good.
You know what? You handled it well. I don't think there's any issue with that at least.
Yeah.
And
I tried my best to like throw some stuff in.
And I didn't fuck up by saying anything disrespectful. You know.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
good. That's a positive step right there. But
growing together. Oh, we're just growing on this podcast.
That's what we are doing. You know what? Actually, here. So, I think it's kind of funny because I remember when my friends first initially saw the podcast, I said, "Yeah, I think we're going to talk a lot about like stuff that we do in like our business lives and like give a perspective from someone in the entry level position versus all the podcasters who are already masters in their position, right?" And then I remember they find the TikTok right when I'm at one of the guys' houses. And we're scrolling through, and everything is just, oh yeah, Noah talking to a girl. What's it called? Jamie not doing anything in his fucking life. Noah talking to another girl. Jamie playing some video games. Where's the business stuff?
You know what I think it is, at least from my end? I work all fucking time, so it's like when I'm not working, I don't want to talk about work. You know?
Jeez, that was aggressive. Sorry. No, I get that because like I mean now I do, but like I get home, right? Don't forget, I left the house at like 7 a.m., 7:15ish. I woke up at a quarter before 6 before that. And I would sometimes get home at like 8:30, 9:30. My parents would be like, how was your day? And I'd be like, not right now.
Right. Which actually brings me to a good point here. We kind of like touched on it briefly on a call, I think. When you work like either like starting your own business or just a few people, the 9 to 5
is not viable.
It doesn't it's not that it doesn't exist, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you work 9 to 5, I'm sorry, if you work a 9 to 5 job and then say, "Oh, I'm so tired," you have no idea about like working hard.
Well, here's the thing, right? A 9 to 5 when you hate what you do, you like that will drain you. If you like what you do, you can legitimately go a lot longer. Like a normal guy, like best example for me would be the drums. Like they play for half an hour and that's it, right? Because you can't do that much. Me, I love to play the drums. I can play for 3 hours. You know what I mean? And I'm physically tired, but I love to do it. And I'll keep going more. Or another good example, right? Like so my boss.
But if someone played for half an hour and then said, "I'm so tired. Like I just drummed so hard."
They like the drums, but they don't love the drums.
It's not that. I'm like, bro, I can drum for 3 hours and be fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, so like I told you, like I'm working like construction right now. I'm building fences and decks, and I'm averaging 12 hours a day. And I look at my boss. I'm like, how are you doing this?
You got used to it,
right? No, but this is what he said, and it was kind of corny, right? This is the corniest thing I think I've ever seen this guy heard this guy say. And you gotta understand, this guy is like super Canadian. He's 6'8", by the way, right?
Okay.
And he's been like in the construction industry pretty much his whole life, right? He's like a simple guy in that sense. And he's like, I just love what I do, so I'm not working. I'm building shit that I like to build.
Right.
He literally like on the weekends when he's not working, he builds shit in his garage. You know what I mean? Like he is like that's his.
Yeah. He loves the. Here's something, right? I think it's very difficult to find something that you specifically love to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say you love playing the drums, right? It may be very difficult to become like a famous drummer, let's say, right?
Or a studio drummer.
Yeah, but if you worked somehow in the entertainment industry or something to do with music, right? In a business sense or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, you're gonna like that more than like construction, let's say, 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Here, so like my
So he loves to build shit, so maybe building fences is just like, it's just part of it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like my mom asked me, she's like, because I've only worked 2 weeks with them, and I already have like 110, 120 hours on the board.
Right.
9 total days, really. Right. And she's like, I don't want you to get burnt out like really quick. I'm like, you know what? It's all good. I'm enjoying the workout in it. Like I went from 188 pounds on wake up to 182 after a meal, right? Like I'm enjoying the physical aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like everything about it, but I find things that I like about it. And I'm only doing it for like a month here and there. But then like when I do go into to work at even a 9 to 5, I'm specifically looking for stuff that I know will excite me, right? Whether it be industries that I enjoy, or at the very least there's some sort of that job that I really like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I think I got lucky in that sense. Because I like to be creative. That's like, I realize like it doesn't matter really what exactly it is that I'm being creative about, but I just like to or think outside the box, let's say.
Yeah.
Marketing is a perfect outlet for that, right? Because, we make new products, or it's like, how can we grow the business or like grow the brand or whatever the case may be. It just allows me to be creative, right? So even though I'm working long hours, and there is something to like working hard, like working 11 hours a day, even if you love to do it, it's still a lot, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And burnout is a very real thing as well. Even though you might love to do it, and right now it doesn't come like right away, but if it's like, 2 months in, you're working 11 hours a day, you're gonna get burnout.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's just a fact.
Yeah, and that is kind of part of the issue in our like general area in society, where a 9 to 5 nowadays is not a 9 to 5, it's a 7 to 7, right?
Not true.
I'll explain. Like, you start at 9 a.m. 100%, but you wake up like 7 or earlier to get ready for work.
That's part of it.
I know. Hold up, but then, like, if you work till 5, especially if you're like an entry level guy, your boss like he's doing the minimum or whatever. Like he's gonna give the promotion to someone who's going above and beyond. So if you want to get that promotion, you have to work the extra hours. You have to do it. You have to do better in those hours. You have to be more efficient. So there's a big issue with like you can't just do your 9 to 5 and then over time just expect to like get raises and more and not more money, but a higher position, etc. So the best thing that I can say is love what you do. That way, no matter what you do, you can do it very well. You do it efficiently, and over time you can grow. Maybe not even work till like after hours, but like those hours that you are there, you're putting 100% effort into when someone else is putting 90%.
It's not necessarily that. Like when you work 11 hours, you're not going hard for 11 hours, right?
Well, no, you need your breaks.
Yeah,
100%.
you need your breaks, or like maybe at this hour you didn't work as hard as the last, right? Like you're not just like maybe at 10 to 11, you're very efficient, you're going, and then like 11 to 12, it's like it slowed down a bit, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a human factor.
It's not necessarily that I work harder than other people. It's that just a matter of like how long I'm in the business setting for is much longer than the other people, right?
Okay.
So I think we touched on it earlier. By the time they're already there, I've already been working for an hour and a half. Yeah. When they leave, I'm still working for another hour and a half. Not necessarily that I'm working so hard at 7:30 in the morning or at 6 at night, but I'm still in that business mindset. So then when someone comes and says, "Oh, well, I thought we should do this," guess what? I already thought of it.
Well,
all right.
Your case is a bit different. Don't forget, because your dad's the CEO, so you're going with him to work. You're leaving with him from work, right? So he's staying there later than everyone else. He's the boss. He's the big man, right? So in that sense, you are going to be there longer. But at the very least, you're making use of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You're not just on your phone gaming, like when you're like an hour and a half before work and an hour and a half work or whatever.
Yeah,
you're doing your stuff.
Even like, let's say, especially like early in the mornings and like at around 6 or so.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scrolling Twitter, not like for entertainment wise, but I'm just kind of seeing what's happening in the industry.
Well, you're also still at that point kind of like waking up and getting in the mindset, right?
Yeah, but at least I'm there. I'm looking around. I'm seeing what's happening in the industry, like different news from other companies, right? So I can see what they're doing. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, like
just longer hours, more information.
Yeah, like 100%. Like even with what I'm doing, I don't like the job itself. I don't like the tedious work of building a fence. But I do, however, love the fact that I'm working outside, that I'm lifting a bunch of fucking weight over like my back is fucking shredded, right? And that's not like me, like even like just saying shit to say shit, but I'm legitimately getting in like an 8-hour workout on just back, shoulders, legs, biceps, whatever, right? So I love that aspect. So like even though I'm not the fastest or whatever, I'm still putting in that 100%, right? Because don't forget, the shit's fucking heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, construction's different though. Like I feel like you have to be.
Like you have to be, but the thing is, like, at somebody my age, like for the most part, I don't see how much more they can do than what I'm doing. And that does sound a bit like, you know, praising myself, but it's more of the fact that, like, for one, I'm also working for my dad's company in a sense, but two, it's like, at what point is the breaking point, right? Because I've legitimately like thought I hurt my back because I was lifting so much weight, and I'm pushing in like crazy weather. And
okay, I know what stage you're at right now. That's actually an interesting stage.
What do you mean?
I also thought that way when I first started. After like 2 months, I was like, okay, I got it. Like I know how to get followers on Instagram. I know how to do this. I know how to do that, right? Like now it's just like how hard I'm going to work, but I know how to do everything, right? It doesn't matter the business, bro. You don't know shit yet.
Oh, 100%.
Like you're only like a month in?
No, I'm like 2 weeks in, my guy.
2 weeks in, bro?
I'm telling you, I don't know how to build this stuff. I'm saying that I'm working as hard as I can to learn.
Oh, I thought you meant like you already know.
No. Yeah. If you ask me to build a fence right now, I know some of the basics, but I don't know how to build the fucking fence for you. Okay. I don't know the specifics of everything.
Yeah, I would say then working hard is going to let you learn how to build a fence or do this or do that faster.
Yeah.
Or better, more efficient. But that never ends. Like the learning, it never ends. Doesn't matter. Because then, let's say you know how to build a fence really well.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, how do I get more clients? How do I make sure that the customer is happy?
Yep.
How do I do this? How do I do that? It just keeps going until you're like, I don't know. I guess it never ends, right?
Well, yeah, 100%, right? Like, don't forget, I'm in the learning stage. I'm not like, I'm not some vet or whatever. I've worked and done like foundations for fences and decks. I've never done them themselves, right? So I'm fully learning. I don't even know the names of all the tools and shit like that, right? Like every time my boss tells me to pass a specific tool, I don't know it. I point at myself. I'm like, am I the tool? Like, what do you want? Right? Like the drills like that, right? But it does come to an idea of if you can make yourself 1% better every single day, then the strides that you will make over even a short period of time is immaculate.
Yeah, you just have to like. You can't go in with the mindset of I already know how to do something.
No, I think that's where most people get like shoot themselves in the foot, where it's like
hey, I had that problem also. But.
I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, but yeah, like if I start a new job, right, and it's the same like task, but it's a different industry, then I got to relearn everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I got to learn how to specify for a different product. Right? And then maybe I get good at that and I want to figure out different, and then I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing with this. Let me figure out a different outlet to portray it on to gain more followers. And then maybe I do that. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't work. And I troubleshoot and I figure out what's going on. At least then every day I'm trying to get a little bit better, and hopefully over time my boss can see it. Here, so I'll move it to a different industry, right? Because I told you that I got a job at a restaurant, right? And I've been kind of putting it off for a little bit while I just finished with this temporary gig. But I had an online training session, right? I believe it was on Thursday, right? And he's talking to us about realistically all the basic things about a restaurant, stuff that I know, right? Like I know that what's it called? If you want to keep how to keep clients happy, I know how to like put everything into a POS system. I know how to take orders and make everyone happy. I know how to talk to customers. So at first I was like, what is the need of this, right?
Well, there's I guess they would assume you don't have experience.
Well, that yes, but it was a group call and everyone there was a former server.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of what is the reasoning for this, right?
Right.
And I think I've like about two hours into it, I'm like, okay, so for one, they like obviously they want to touch base, make sure that we know all the basics or whatever, because maybe we worked at a place that wasn't as good. But at the very end of the day, there's not even gaps. Like the biggest thing he told us was like, be better every single time, right? I'm not going to be the best server at the restaurant the first week that I'm there, even though I had experience beforehand, because it's a different environment, different clients, different customers, different menu, different everything, right? Different even just like the way that you talk to other servers and do things, right? Like he was telling us that they give out so many discounts and stuff just so that the client is happy and they come back again. And I've never heard that before, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's trying to show us that improvements every day is what makes the restaurant a really well-run restaurant. And now I can understand and I can be like, okay, so today I'm learning about the business. And then like in a week or so when I work in person, I'm going to try to put that into effect,
right?
Get good at it and then find better ways to be better, right? Which obviously that makes more tips.
Yeah, here's something I learned. See, a reason that I kind of started to love work is not the money or whatever. It's like what I learned. Like I learned so much about like just how to think. I mean, I am privileged, so I know I get like more of that than somebody who wasn't in my or isn't in my position.
Well, you know that you're the boss's kid,
right? But there's so many things. Like for example, I loved this this lesson about business. Okay, so my dad used to have like a coffee shop chain back in the day, like 20 years ago.
I never knew this.
Right, or 30 years ago. I don't know. It was one of his second business, I think. Okay. I don't know. Whatever. So he opened up a coffee shop, right? And when he opened it, he had like 100 different like desserts, 100 this, so like just packed the place with all these options, right?
Okay.
Now back in the day, there wasn't no like social media, right? So it's like when you open a business, it's not just packed immediately, right?
Yeah.
So somebody comes in, like let's say like 10 people came in that day, right? They say, wow, look at all this selection, right? And they buy like one bought this, one bought that, one bought this, right? If he looked at it and said, okay, only 10 people came in, so I can get rid of like a bunch of other stuff because it didn't sell, right? So let's say he gets rid of 10 options. So now he has 90 pieces of selection.
Yeah.
The same, like let's say next time 15 people come in, but then he gets rid of another 10 because they didn't sell, right? All of a sudden, like your selection, after like a month, you have no selection, right? And then the people who came in for your selection all of a sudden start going to a different place that has selection.
Okay.
So you have to basically feed the business before it feeds itself, right? Here's why it doesn't work though. Or sorry, here's why it does work, and if you don't do it, it doesn't work.
Okay.
If you do it, people come in, they have all the selection, they tell their friends about it. All of a sudden, you got a bunch of people in, you have all the selection because you're buying a lot of inventory. Your costs are down, your margins are up, right? So you basically feed the business so much that people have no choice but to come in. Are you following so far?
I do, and I have a disagreement.
Okay.
So finish your story, and I'll get through it.
And this is like, so let's say I think he opened one right beside another coffee shop that wasn't selling all of a sudden because everybody started going to him, started cutting the inventory. In like 2 months, he closed the coffee shop beside him.
Okay. So here, this is specific to the restaurant industry because I do have some experience.
Well, this is like, it was more like a, I guess it's not
it's
really
a service industry.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And the issue with like any kind of restaurant when they have such a big menu is
this would be like what a bagel, I would say, if it was closest to anything.
Okay, then that's a fair menu. But like I remember watching, like, you ever watch like Kitchen Nightmares or something, or I even asked my brother about this because he was a cook, he was a sous chef, and I said, why don't the menus just have like really fat fucking menus so that way you can just pick whatever you want, right? And no matter what you ask them to pick. And he's like, for one, if there's so many different items, then you're making less of each and you're running out of them at all times. And the ingredients aren't as fresh because if you have 100 guests in a day and you have 100 items, that means theoretically one item is getting picked per day of each. So you're not selling your inventory of it, and it just gets old and dry.
It's not the right way to think.
No. Listen, if you have the right size menu, let's say you have like 50 items, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that 100 people come in and they order like this the first time, this the next time, whatever, and you have a constant flow. You're maintaining your inventory and everything stays fresh, and you don't miss out on ingredients that you might need for that. Like here, the first restaurant that I ever worked at, the menu was a book. Okay.
No. Sorry. If I were to rephrase, it's not like What a Bagel. It was like Tim Hortons almost.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not, like I get what you're saying, and maybe it came off the wrong way.
Right, but when you go to Tim Hortons, they have like literal screens of just different things.
Yeah, but they have screens of it, but it's not like they have a million items per page. You know what
No,
I mean?
obviously, like you shouldn't have like 1,000 different things,
like,
right?
If you're talking like a coffee shop, right? You have the different kinds of coffee.
You have like 100 different items on the menu.
Yeah.
Tim's, let's say.
But I'm saying like you have like the thing is you have different kinds of coffee and then different versions of that coffee that have the same ingredients or a few different here and there. A couple pastries, a couple like donut, like a couple like desserts, a couple entrees. Nothing too crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
That way you go there, you know what you want, whatever. Now the place that I worked at when I was first serving, the place that gave me nightmares, if you guys remember on one of the podcasts, their menu was legitimately like 8-9 pages back and forth flipping, right? And it was just fucking layered shit, right? Like if you wanted a burger, there was 20 different kinds of burgers that you can get. But in reality, we only had stock for like 10 of them because no one bought them, right? So when someone did buy them, we just didn't have the right ingredients for it, right? Or if you wanted a pasta, there was a million kinds of pastas. Or there was a million kinds of deli sandwiches or a million kinds of desserts. There was literally desserts that me as a server had to make because it was such a big menu that we didn't have the staff for it.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
I think the point of it was like, let's say you have like 6 different types of pasta or whatever. Let's say like in this case, 6. Let's say 6. If you don't sell 2 of them, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should take it off.
That's not what I'm saying.
Because, everybody has a different taste or whatever. And because you have selection, that's why people come.
Yes, you're right. I'm saying that if you have 6, right, and some people aren't buying it, maybe buy some like less stock of it, but make sure you have it in supply and it's fresh, right? But if you have 100 different selections of pasta, there's physically no way that you can maintain all of that.
No, that's just stupid.
No, but I'm saying that's my experience, right? So I think the same can be actually said in business, right? Like your specific company has one industry, right? It follows all the subgenres of that industry. Like you work in cannabis, but you have different products in cannabis that are for different selection, which is fine, right? But if you have if you have a conglomerate company that literally has that company and a million other companies,
no, it never works.
Never. Like the margins are way less, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it was Frito-Lay or one of the big snack companies. They just broke off into 3 separate companies because 85% of profits was coming from 2 different products, right? When they had a million others that weren't necessarily selling. So they put their time. So they broke out the company in different sections. That way they can invest more time in those companies. You know what I mean? They can make it better,
right?
Which is a great thing to do in my opinion, right? But the company that I worked for, that I served, closed down because they couldn't, if half the item isn't in stock, no customer's happy.
Exactly. That's why you need to keep it in stock, even if it's not your best seller or whatever it is.
Yeah, but
just having selection is such a big thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can't have over selection.
I want to start this business. I don't know if I will. I'll say it.
Don't start a restaurant.
No, not a restaurant. I'm gonna say this business because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, someone's gonna steal it, bro. Fucking steal it. I dare you."
Okay. I mean, someone's gonna take it.
So there's a bunch of social media management tools that are very simple to use and understand, right?
Like CRM or like
Hootsuite or Later. It's like you plan
Hootsuite,
it in advance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it gives you analytics.
Which, by the way, we should start using that for the TikToks. That way it goes
no,
down.
you don't. I use it for work. You don't need it.
Okay.
So I want to do something like that in a sense that it's very easy to set up and track, and it gives you analytics and stuff, but for inventory specifically.
So you want it to be more directed to something specific.
it doesn't matter. Like, let's say you put all your inventory in and you hook it up to the machine so it knows what you're selling.
Yep.
It will, say like, oh, this is your best seller. You should order this to keep it in stock. Even though this isn't your best seller, it'll give you reasons why you should keep it in stock. Like, basically just a very like simple inventory management system.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Oh, that like.
That's the idea.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, just something, because a lot of businesses now, they use like Excel spreadsheets to track their inventory, which is fine if you're good at Excel. But what if you're not?
I mean, if you're not good at Excel, then how good of a marketer are you really?
Hey, it's not marketing though.
No,
it's inventory management.
I know, but any kind of business, like any business course that I took, like whether it was my entrepreneurship or small business courses or my marketing, there were classes in Excel. Because no matter what, you have to understand what your numbers are saying, and that's what Excel's for.
No, I get that, but so like if you're not good at Excel, there should be another option. And I think a lot of people, maybe that limits them from starting a business, even because like they're not good with the numbers. But if they have something that's just easy to follow, easy to understand, this is your inventory, you should buy this. Here's a report. Here's this, all done for you.
Yeah, then I guess in that sense, you're like, you definitely have something, right? But there's no but. Sorry, there's no but. But it's very much okay. I just said but again.
No but.
But if you want to do it, then fucking do it. Don't like just say you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna do it for at least a year and a half.
Well, look.
But maybe next.
Here's the issue with like young wannabe entrepreneurs. The difference between them and the ones who already have the money. Like, I know a kid who in high school sold a company for like nearly $1 million, right? The reason why he made that, why he got that money and he's still doing what he's doing, is because he started it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, you were different where like you had a business idea and like you would hit me up and be like, yo, is this viable? And we talk about it and we see what's viable, what's not viable.
No business experience before that.
It doesn't matter.
Now I think I can start.
It doesn't matter. How do you gain experience in entrepreneurship? You fucking start. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily.
No, like the way that you're going right now is you're learning about an industry, and you can like take over that industry if you want. But I'm saying like
No. I'm learning the industry, yes, but I'm more learning about how to run a business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like me, like I have an idea for like starting like a music store, right? But I'm not going to gain experience on being a business owner until I start doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean there, where
like
it's like you actually have to do it, right?
Yeah. Like if you fail, you fail. But as long as
you'll learn stuff.
You learn and you do another one.
Right.
You get better.
I think in the position that I'm at now, though, what's good about it is I learned the concept of how to run a business. Like, let's say you get stuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you get stuck in, but there needs to be it's a very simple concept, but a lot of people don't know it. Like, when you hear it, you're going to be like, yeah, it's obvious. But a lot of people don't think of this, right?
It's obvious. I already know it.
No, let's say you get stuck on something. You can't just be like, oh, I'm finished, right?
Okay.
You have to think of ways to get over the hump. And you have to actually do it, right?
You don't give up, as we
yeah, it's like, oh, well, let's say I want to start a music store, but I don't, I did this and I did that, and now I don't have enough money to rent a store, let's say, right? I don't know how you would go about that.
Oh, online music store.
Yeah, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's say you don't have enough money to keep inventory.
Okay.
Let's say. You have to think, okay, I don't have enough money to keep inventory. What's the first step that I can do to make that goal not as far?
Or even change that. It's like let me make like a web. Like I forgot what it's called, where you make a circle and then you make a bunch of branches and stuff. And you think of different ideas that you could do to solve that problem, and then you figure out which one's the most viable.
No.
What do you mean?
You just go like this, bro.
No, my guy. I'm sorry. That in itself is
you
not
just full on get what you want as fast as you want.
Yeah, I'm telling you. In order to figure it out, you got to figure out what the options are that you can take.
Weigh your options, but
that's what I'm saying.
Once you pick your option.
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%.
I'm saying if I made a spider web and I'm like, okay, if I don't know what to do with inventory, let's say, right? So let's make a graph see what options I can take. So one would be like, oh, maybe I just start making money now. That way I can afford to pay for a facility, inventory, whatever. Or I get investors, or I fucking do whatever the fuck. And then I weigh out all those options. I'm like, okay, which one's the most viable? Which one costs me the least amount of money? Which one makes me keep my company? What are the pros and cons of each? And then which one I pick and I just fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with the company that you want to make, I'm telling you, like, just fucking do it. Like, I know you're working Monday to Friday. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday you have some free time.
Do the podcast on Saturday, Sunday. It's okay.
No, but I'm saying, like,
I have no doubt in my mind that I will start a business, but I realized something.
Okay.
I realized this. I know what my goal is in life. As like, I know what I want to do. I figured it out.
Okay.
There's something about real estate that I just love it. I don't know what it is. Agent? No, I don't want to be an agent. I don't want to be like a real estate agent. I want to be like a developer. I want to develop land. I want to buy land, but build like a fucking building and sell the building. Like, I want to go like to the top, bro. I want to make like some fucking giant shit. My goal is
you want to be a home renovator.
No, not home renovator. Like, I want
my guy
commercial stuff.
I know. I'm saying, oh, like you want to actually make buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I want to like. My goal in life is to look at a building and be like, I fucking did that. How sick would that be, bro?
That is fucking cool. It is cool.
I mean, it just takes like 10 years to fucking build. But
No. Like, because my family, we work in residential construction.
Right.
So some of the people that we worked with are guys who literally bought a house in whatever area, demolished it, and rebuilt. Right. And they're doing all this cool shit to it, whatever. And like, we're just there to build a fence, but we ask them questions like how they're doing everything, right? So it takes a lot of time, but it can make so much money the moment you sell. You know what I mean? I think your dad did kind of the same thing where he demoed some houses or whatever, and he built his own shit.
That was just personal. He was a land developer though.
Yeah, that's
like he built a couple streets, flips. He was more like flipping though. Like he bought land, sold it.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what's so weird? He almost bought the land on the street that I live on now.
That's kind of funny.
Which I think it was like more people didn't want to invest with him. He wanted to invest in it because it's a lot of money.
I mean, nowadays in our area, or even the GTA itself, which everyone already knows that we live here.
It's crazy.
So, like, if you buy land or whatever and you just wait on it, like, it skyrockets like a motherfucker.
But you can't buy land now, bro. It's fucking so expensive.
Dude, let me tell you what, right? My family, right? When I was born, we lived in I think it was a townhouse, right? Mm-hmm. But when I was 1 year old, we moved to a semi-detached home. That home was paid for less than $150,000.
Yeah.
Sold it 7-8 years later for about double the price. Bought the house that we ended up meeting for whatever the price was. Sold it 7 years later for more than double.
Right.
And it's only been 7 years since. It's more than double that now.
Yeah,
you gotta understand. In 15 years, our house went up.
Tripled.
No, 4 times. Right?
No, I wouldn't say 4 times.
No, 4 times, my guy. You
No.
don't know what we bought it. I don't think so.
It was like 7. Right?
No, less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, 4 times.
But
I would say.
My first house that I lived in, not the townhouse, the semi-detached, went up almost tenfold.
Yeah, the townhouses are like 1.3 now.
Yeah,
just
I told you, my family bought it for less than 150.
Yeah, it's insane.
Less than 150.
It's so insane because it's like back in the day, you work for like a year, 2 years, boom, you put a down payment which is like 60% of a house, right?
What do you mean 60%? No.
What do you mean? If you make like, let's say in 2 years you make like 75K, 80K, you put a down payment on a house.
You're not putting a down payment of 75K. You're putting a down payment of whatever the.
But if the house is 150.
Yeah, but you're not putting down 75K.
Why not?
You're putting it down like
what,
like a quarter or like even.
Yeah,
less.
whatever it is. But it's like, you work a year or 2 years and then you can do it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, bro, you gotta work forever.
This is why this is why we're fucked as a generation growing up, right? When you were obviously different times, right? But when you're our parents' age, let's say you made 40K a year, right? 40K, you could afford a home,
right?
We're making 40K still.
Yeah.
Maybe 45. Ooh, we made 5,000 more than our parents starting off.
But the housing is
it's
10 times more.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's actually 10 times. Like Do you know anybody in your age group that bought a house who didn't make it fucking big out of nowhere?
No.
I know one.
I don't know one person that has bought
Yeah.
a house.
I know one person who purchased a house. Like, I don't know him. It was like a girl that went to my school. Like, she's like engaged to this guy who's a bit older.
Right.
He's making fucking bank, bro.
Right.
Right? And he bought a house. He's like late 20s. And that's the only person that I know in my school who has their own home.
I think I know one person that could buy a house, but he moved to California. So
I mean, well, yeah.
I don't think he can buy a house now, but I think in like 3 years he could buy a house.
I think 1 year working where he is, he can come back and buy a house.
No, not in this housing market.
I think I'm pretty sure I know what he's making, for the most part, the ballpark.
Right.
And all it takes is a year. Because don't forget, he's also getting a lot of his expenses paid for.
Right.
Right? Which, by the way, he knows who he is. That's fucking gangster shit, dude.
Yeah, it is.
He fucking killed it. Right? Like, I know a lot of our friends are actually killing it too, which is kind of fucking annoying because I'm a business major. Business majors don't make shit. But, especially at the beginning. But, like, even the guy that I told you sold his company for $1 million, I don't even know if he has a house. Like, I don't know him very well at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think he moved out. And he fucking sold a company for like $800K or some shit. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
I don't know.
He might have actually moved out. I have no clue. But I'm saying, like, besides like maybe him and like that one other guy, everyone my age is like hoping to fucking to get a house at some point.
Bro,
Not
if the housing market crashes, then we'll all be happy, huh?
That's so fucked up to think about.
I know.
It's like, yo, you know what'd be great for the economy right now? The Great Depression.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be great, but yeah.
You know, but like it's fucked up to think about in a sense where like, because where we live, right, gas is already at $2 a liter. It's supposed to go up even more. Like you go to the grocery store. Before you used to buy, like when we were kids, we buy a bottle of ketchup for like $1 or $2. Now it's $8.
Yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
said this last time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, everything cumulative, right, is just going up so high.
Crazy expensive.
And for what reason? Because minimum wage went from $11.40 to $14. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, the ends doesn't justify the means.
It's also like, I realize with work, bro, it's like anywhere you look, it's like 5 years of experience for like an entry level job.
Dude, everybody
5 years, bro? Do you know how fucking long 5 years is?
I don't get it, bro. People see me as 22 years old. They're like, oh, you don't have 15 years of experience already? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What, you want me to start being on market when I'm 7?
Yeah, it's like what
I'm
the hell are
23
you
actually
talking
now, but
about? Also, like, I've realized this, bro. People in marketing, even if they do have the experience, doesn't mean they're good whatsoever.
Of course.
Right? Like, I remember there was this one chick that worked with us. She no longer works with us. Bro, it'd be like, okay, I'll give you this example, right? I'd be like, did you make a Twitter for this brand? Right? Yes or no question, right? Well, the executives and I had a team meeting and we made the executive decision to not pursue Twitter. I'm like, just say no. Like, that's it, right? Like, you don't have to fucking, like, say all this.
Don't beat around the bush.
Yeah, don't be, like, the way that I see it, bro, people that are good at business don't talk like that, right? They say, like, this is what it is. This is what I'm going to do. And then I do it. That's it. Like, it's very simple. None of this, like, super formal talking. Oh, the executives, the this, the that. What the hell, bro?
What I hate is when people aren't like straightforward with me. It's like, it's like, why you gotta word it so in such a way that it just takes, like, we don't live in the fucking 1800s. We don't have time for you to go on these fucking tangents.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, to be fair, people are gonna watch this for an hour maybe, and so that is a bit of a tangent.
And they're
So-
gonna go on a tangent.
Yeah. So, like, my whole thing is like, did you do this? Yes, I did it. Or no, I didn't. Why didn't you do it? No, don't give excuses.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, I was trying to, and then this. No, I didn't do it. I'm gonna make sure I get to it or whatever. I'm sorry that I didn't do it already.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this goes back to working with the guy for the Fences Index, where he's like, Jamie, have you cut this yet? And I'm like, no. He's like, why? My bad. What's it called? I forgot about it. I'll do it right now. Or
Just be honest.
or my bad. I'm a little slow. Just give me a second, right? No, I don't need it. I don't need to be like, oh, I was going to, and this. Like, I don't need to give them excuses, right?
Right.
And like, it's like when people would come late to school and they're like, why are you so late? Oh, because this happened. Like, no, just my bad. I'm sorry. I'll try not to be late next time. You know what I mean?
Or just give the reason, like the real reason.
Like, just like literally, it's like your explanation shouldn't be more than like 15 words.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just get to the point. Like, it's not even that I don't have time for you. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. People be crazy, you know.
I don't know. It's such a weird thing to me where it's like Boston didn't win the NBA Finals. Why is that? Oh, because we didn't do this and we didn't do that. No, we lost the game.
You got outplayed.
We got to be better next time, right? That's all I need to hear.
Take some responsibility on yourself.
Like, here's another example, right? I think UFC is actually the best way to explain this, right? So there's a big pay-per-view coming up next week, right?
Right.
It's Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier with the co-main event of Max Holloway versus Volkanovski 3, right? Now, Volkanovski, he's beaten Max Holloway twice, right? I don't agree with the second one, but he has, right? Imagine I ask Holloway, why'd you lose the first two? And he's like, this. Like, no, the first one, he got more hits on me, he kicked my legs in or whatever, and I didn't expect it.
Yeah, but they're never going to say that.
No, but he's not like, he just did better or whatever. It's like, he's this and this and this, and it's like I thought I won the fight, to be honest, and like stuff like that. Like, just get to the point. Like, I don't think anyone, like, no one should be mad at you for losing the championship.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Volk's, he's a beast, bro.
Volk's a savage. I love watching Max.
I think he wins again.
I think Max wins. I think Max is on I think Max has improved a lot, to be honest. Whatever, it's fine.
Volk? Did you see Volkanovski last fight?
Yeah, I don't think Korean Zombie should have been in that position in the first place.
Bro, but it was, he just outclassed him in every way.
Listen. So here, I'll give you a bit of a story. So, before that, Volkanovski fought Brian Ortega in maybe even the fight of the year, right? I personally think that Chandler and Oliveira was fight of the year, whatever I think, or Chandler versus Gaethje, one of those. But it was a contender.
Chandler versus Gaethje was nice.
It was they were all amazing, right? And Brian Ortega almost came back and won, but at the end of the day, Volkanovski beat the shit out of him.
That's why I wouldn't say it was fight of the year, because Volkanovski basically beat the shit out of him, and then Ortega got like two opportunities where he almost ended it.
I know, but it's
pretty like,
you know what I mean. It's a great show of like heart, right?
But it was like 90%.
But Volk, like in my opinion, won 4 to 5 rounds, right? And there's no me talking shit about that. Now the fight before that, Ortega absolutely fucking destroyed Korean Zombie.
Right.
Zombie didn't fight since then, until he fought Volkanovski, because Max Holloway came out of injury, and Volkanovski's already flicked the bean of everyone else in that top 5. Like Zombie is a great fighter.
But he's not championship level
anymore, in my opinion. Right? He's not there. Volk is just it's literally Volk and Max, and then everyone else. Right? Ortega was an amazing fight, but Ortega was not outclassed, but he lost definitively. And there's the guys coming up that aren't there yet. Whatever. Right?
But then we got Israel Adesanya.
No. So, like, I'm just trying to say.
Okay.
Like, I don't think Korean Zombie should have been there. Right? And Volk absolutely. Volk was like, dude. Like, he's like, look at the rep. Can you stop the fight, please? I'm killing this guy. At this point, right? He's like, please stop the fight. Put the towel in, right? But yeah, so I forgot where I'm going with this.
Anyways, we'll
go ahead.
We'll talk about Izzy, bro. I want to talk about Izzy because that man,
savage,
bro. He is like, he's just. I have no words, bro. He's so good.
Sorry, I remember why I was saying that, because Zombie didn't go into the post fight and be like, oh yeah, it was this, that I lost. He's like, I lost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I didn't.
He got fucked.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, go ahead. Izzy is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I like Cannonier. I like that he went up in weight and down, because he used to be like a light heavyweight.
No, he was a heavyweight.
Jeez,
dude, he did the opposite of what most fighters do, which is over the years go up.
Yeah,
he got shredded.
Yeah, but I just think like there's no one for Izzy in his weight class. Izzy's just too good, bro. He's the style bender, you know? He just makes everyone his bitch. Like, when you fight him, you have to play his game.
Everyone besides Robert Whittaker.
He KO'd Robert Whittaker.
The first time. The second fight was like it was like 3-2 rounds. It was like close as fuck.
But you got to beat the champ to beat the champ.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying Whittaker's the only one, in my opinion, that's given him like a run for his money.
But Whittaker's also an amazing fighter.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, Izzy still won the fight. And it was like, you know, like I said, you got to beat the champ to beat the champ. Yeah, I think Izzy beats Cannonier all day.
Well, here's
KO. I'm saying.
Here's the thing, right? So, like I said, Cannonier started off as a heavyweight, right? And then like he was strong at heavyweight.
Right.
He wasn't like the 260 heavyweight. He was like a 240 heavyweight, right? So he's not like comparable to like Ngannou in a sense. But he had the power, right? Then he goes down to light heavyweight, right? He fought some of the big guys in light heavyweight, from what I remember. No. He fought like he fought like Santos and Reyes and Blachowicz. He fought and Glover, I think. He fought the big guys, right?
I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just saying, like, you think he hits so much harder than Paulo Costa?
I think he's on that same level.
But Izzy made Paulo Costa his bitch,
Yes,
bro.
I know. I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I think when it comes to the top 4 of the light heavyweight division, he was 2-2, not including Yuri, because Yuri wasn't in that division.
Right.
Wasn't really in the division yet. 2-2. So he has the skill set, right? Then he goes down to middleweight, and he looks absolutely fucking dazed out of his mind, right? Now here's the issue, right? He beat Derek Brunson, great, like he got him good, right?
Yeah.
Something like, I don't think Brunson's ever been like KO'd ever since he went blonde hair or some shit like that, right? It was like 7-8 fights, right? He lost to Whitaker though, right? And he almost knocked out Whitaker, but Whitaker almost knocked out him. Very, very close fight, but at the end of the day, you knew Whitaker won, right? And you know that Whitaker is the number 1 guy. It's like how Colby Covington is the number 1 of the welterweights, but it's Usman. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you want to go.
There's a clear, like, if that guy wasn't the champion, he would be the champion.
And it's
right?
like, if you want to fight Usman, you have to get through Colby first.
Right.
Same.
I honestly feel bad for him in a sense like that, where it's like it's only because Usman is there that guy, he just can't.
Usman
beat
is the
one
number 1
guy,
pound for
bro.
pound guy.
It's so fucked.
But the thing is, Colby is still top 10 in the UFC in my opinion, pound for pound.
Yeah, he's just like a little bit under Usman and just can't, like, I think it's just physically not possible for him to just.
But it's the same thing as what I'm saying, where Whitaker is the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Not the champ, the number 1, right? Where it's like Whitaker is still in the top 15 in my opinion, right? But Izzy is just like, in my opinion, top 3 in UFC.
Right. They're just on another planet.
Cannonier lost to Whitaker, and in my opinion, because of that, you have to say that he's a little bit worse than Whitaker. So I think Izzy wins. Don't forget, there is the chance that, he gets fucking knocked out of his mind and Cannonier wins. But I think not like 95 times out of 100, Izzy wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody has a puncher's chance. That's what they call it. But
I don't agree with puncher's chance unless it's a certain matchup. Because they're both strikers, right? They're not really ground guys, but they're both strikers. And then, oh, by the way, so there was a women's fight in the main event. It was Miesha Tate and Lauren Murphy, and they just got scrapped like last night. And I'm going through the Reddit, and it's like, oh man, I can't go to the bathroom now during the main card. That shit was hilarious, right? And there was also one where it was like the yes chance or whatever, like in WWE. But whatever. I digress. I love watching Miesha Tate fight. Lauren Murphy just fought for the title. Like, it would have been an okay fight. I think it would have been the worst in the card. Right?
I'm always down for a good women's fight. But
also, Miesha Tate is like a fan favorite. She's one of my favorites, right? She was like the Ronda Rousey days, But yeah. And then we got Sugar Sean O'Malley and his first real test in the division, Pedro Munoz, whose last fight was Jose Aldo, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll see about that.
So I think if Sean O'Malley can win this fight, then there's no doubts. Like, I think he has to win it a little bit convincingly, in a sense. I don't think like a split decision 3-2 will help his case in a sense. But if he can actually win this fight, maybe KO the guy, or even get just 50-45s or 49-46s, then I think it's fair to say no matter what, Sean O'Malley is a top 5 in the bantamweight division.
I think he's like top 10 right now. No,
he's number 13 or something right now. But Pedro Munoz is number 7, I believe, around that area, right? So it is his first real test.
We'll see, bro. I'm not sold on Sean O'Malley yet.
Look, I love watching him fight because
he's very entertaining.
He's a human highlight reel, right? And I gotta actually say this too. I believe it was originally on the prelims, but it got moved to its own headline event at a fight night. Dominic Cruz is fighting Marlon Vera, right? And I don't think you know about this, but Sean O'Malley said, if Dominic Cruz wins this fight, I want to fight him. I respect him, but I think I'll kick his ass. And
he's also old though, Dominic Cruz.
He's also the quintessential fighter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone talks about how good he is, right? I think he's a little bit awkward on his feet, the way he moves. But everyone's saying like that's his advantage. And he's just amazing. He was the champion at one point, right?
Right.
And he fought Triple C on his return. You know what I mean? And he lost, whatever. But I digress. But yeah, so I think that there's a storyline there where if Sean O'Malley wins and so does Cruz, you have either a fight night main event, or you have like a co-main on a pay-per-view, and it could be like a title eliminator or first number 1 contenders match in a sense, right? You have great options, and if Marlon Vera wins, he can fight for the title. The bantamweight division is looking amazing right now. Like Aljamain Sterling needs to be afraid right now.
Fuck Aljamain Sterling.
I still think Petr Yan won the fight, but
It was so stupid, bro. He fucking just like he tripped him and then just sat on his back, which is so fucking stupid, bro. He basically got his back for like 3 rounds, but he didn't do anything. Like that's bullshit.
Dude,
man.
I think Petr Yan had more strikes when Aldo was on his back. Than
I was like, what the hell, bro? Like the ref should have stood them up.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting there and you're just holding him down, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. So there's another fight I gotta talk about here because there's a lot of storylines with this one.
I don't give a shit about those people.
No, let me tell you what's up. Right. Sean Strickland on a great win streak. Alex Pereira, not even ranked, I don't believe. You know who this guy is? He's the only guy ever to knock out Israel Adesanya in kickboxing.
Oh, that guy.
He beat him twice, right? And he KO'd him the second time, like clean. Only guy to ever do it.
Yeah.
Before Izzy lost to Jan Blachowicz, that was the only guy that ever beat him.
That was
in a
back
fight.
in the day.
It was in kickboxing, but it wasn't like super long ago. I think it was like 8 years ago, maybe.
It's a long time.
And Alex Pereira, this guy's a savage, my guy. I remember watching the first fight or it was the second fight in the UFC. It was the first time I watched him. He literally caught the guy with a flying knee, like he's in a fucking Bruce Lee movie. Like it was gnarly shit, right? So just in that top 4 fights plus the Dominic Cruz fight night, you have 2 amazing storylines there, where it's people who can literally go for the title really soon. And it's like, if Strickland wins, he can even say that he deserves to fight Izzy because he beat the guy that beat Izzy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have great storylines there, and like you have so much that you can work with in a sense of like, obviously you have the trilogy, hopefully the completion of Volk and fuck you. Okay,
You're just rambling.
Am I? Okay, my bad. But I'm saying like you have the middleweight title, you have maybe the middleweight number 1 contendership fight, and then you have the bantamweights going at it to see who can fight the winner of those 2 fights. Fight each other to fight Aljo or whoever he fights, right? Or if he loses to somebody. Like, you have amazing storylines there. And I love that show at the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, UFC is the best sport, hands down, in my opinion. Anybody that says otherwise is just wrong.
My buddy's like, bro, football's better. I'm like, fuck your football, okay?
Like a good UFC fight, it just doesn't compare to any NBA finals, the football fucking Super Bowl. Nah, bro. If you watched, let's say Khabib versus Conor, bro, there's nothing like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're comparing like not apples to oranges, but the biggest UFC event of all time to like a yearly event that happens, right? Like
exactly. That's the other reason where it's like those 2 may only fight 1 time ever, and this is the fucking moment right now.
Oh yeah.
The Super Bowl, bro. Come back next year. It's there, right?
Yes, but it's also 2 different people, whatever. But my thing is like a normal UFC event, in my opinion, is better than a normal soccer event, basketball event, whatever. But like a playoff basketball game or the Super Bowl or whatever is still better than a normal UFC fight. But nothing is better, in my opinion, than like let's say we're talking about Conor McGregor because he was the face of the UFC. Nothing, in my opinion, beats that week leading up where he's just talking all the shit, and then everything happens, and then he's face to face with the guy. Nothing.
Yeah. That like they're standing right. They're like getting ready for the first round.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, "Let's go," and then you're just like, "Oh my fucking god, it's happening."
Like here, can I give you an example? And,
Yeah.
Because I know we've been talking a lot, right? I'm not trying to get that talk after where it's like, Jimmy, you can't be talking so much. But the first ever card that I ever fully watched was headlined by Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez. It was Conor's double champ fight. Now, the week before that, I'm in high school, right? And I'm in class, and literally the kid to my right is watching the press conference live. He's watching Conor McGregor come late, take the belt, and like almost throw a chair at Eddie Alvarez because he's trying to get his belt back, right? Just like dope shit like that, where like you get so hyped for it, and then all this anticipation happens. You watch the main card, literally waiting.
Yeah,
like,
you're waiting for that.
Like
yeah.
you're foaming out the mouth, waiting for this fight, and then the walkouts happen, right? And Conor does the whole fucking arm thing, right?
But for me, it's not just Conor. Like
no, I'm using him as an example.
Anytime Usman fights, I'm the same way, where
Izzy.
it's like that. Izzy like that. Ngannou, I'm like that.
Yeah.
Basically all the champions. Yeah.
I would say all but a few. Like I'm not really that way for like the flyweight champions,
Yeah.
even though I love watching flyweights. Or if Aljo comes out, I'm like he's not really the champion. Or the light heavyweights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're right.
There's a few that you're just like, Jesus.
Like that you're like, I'm not joking. There's literally fights that I've seen where I was nervous.
all the time, bro. Anytime Habib fought, I was like, bro, you can't lose.
I know.
I'm like, if he loses, it's like, what the hell?
Like, let me tell you, like, this is when I started to realize that weed was not good for me. And it's Conor versus Khabib, and I'm at my buddy's house, right? And his brother used to like smoke all the time. So he's like, Jamie, you smoke? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let's go up to my room. We'll hit some bowls or whatever. I hit a bowl, and I go back down. The fight's about to start, right? And I'm watching, and the first round goes well, and I'm like, yeah, Conor's winning, right? Because I'm a Conor fan, right? Or I was at least. I don't know about it anymore. But then Khabib is like just fucking wrestle fucking him and like destroying him, and then he almost knocks out Conor.
Yeah.
I legit thought that like my worst nightmares were coming true. Like I was so like in the moment, and like and my emotions were all over the place. I was like, I can't smoke weed anymore.
Yeah.
Straight up. And he wins, and I'm like, holy shit, that just happened. And then the fight breaks out, right?
But I knew Habib was gonna win.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. It was like, bro, he was the best in the world. Like.
Oh yeah. I mean, most dominant of all time, not the best of all time, in my opinion.
I had no faith that Conor would win.
I fully thought Conor would win. I was like that on the Conor train. You know what I mean? Not to mention he just fought fucking Floyd Mayweather and beat him in 5 out of 9 rounds or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, bro. He clearly lost that.
No. My guy, the scorecards, he won like 5 out of the 9 rounds, and then he just got decimated because he was too tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they might do a second one apparently.
We'll see.
But yeah,
yeah.
It's like you can't top the emotion that you can see from UFC unless you're like the biggest diehard like Liverpool fan, like soccer, and they're literally like a goal away from winning the EPL.
Right.
And that
they score like an OT goal or something like that.
There's no such thing as OT
golden goal
in EPL.
No, sorry. What's it? Classic, I guess. They score an OT, whatever.
I get it. You play FIFA,
Yeah.
but like no. In the EPL, there's only tied. It's only when you're in aggregate, like in the Champions League, let's say, and it's the second game and you guys are tied evenly.
Right.
That's the only time it really goes to OT.
Anyways.
But yeah, I think that stuff's cool. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope you guys, I hope you guys can understand the first part at the very least, and understand where we're coming from. Once again, I apologize for some of the things that we said last week. But
yeah, I apologize, but I also don't apologize. You know.
Dude, can you stop trying to get me in trouble?
I'm not gonna get you in trouble. I'm unapologetic. That's all it is.
I think some of the statements went a little too far.
We'll see.
But I digress, right? I do agree that the general topics were fair. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the entirety of the podcast. With that being said, this video will be up today is Saturday and it's 2:30, so we'll put this out tonight, I think at 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys very, very soon. If you guys have been here the whole time, Noah, it's your turn for the word. Make sure it's good this time, you fuck.
Let's go with The Rock for this hat right here. New hat.
But use it in a sentence to like fuck with us a little bit.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Like,
But The Rock should be in the sentence.
Like, I love playing the rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Or like, I love skipping the rocks.
The Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, some shit like that. It's pretty funny. But I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you guys next week with another episode of the Full of BS podcast. See you guys very soon. Have a great night. Peace.